this transaction quickly ended. However, the Kingdom Token Transaction chat group established by Zhou did not disband. Instead, it chose to be preserved. This way, he could continue using this chat group the next time there was a Kingdom Token transaction. In addition, the Dragon Lady Lord, the Undead Lord, and the others could also pull the Cerulean Planet Lord they felt was strong to join this chat group and participate in the future Kingdom Token auction. I believe it won't be long before a few new human kingdoms other than me appear on the Cerulean planet. Zhou thought to himself. As the main mastermind behind this matter, he actually did not feel much. There were so many human kingdoms on the Cerulean planet. In any case, it would not cause him trouble. Instead, it would benefit him a lot. For example, the price Dragon Lady Lord and the others paid to obtain the Kingdom Token in this transaction. Among them, in the future, the Dragon Lady Lord, the Undead Lord, and the Mystic Heaven Lord would follow his lead. Moreover, their lords would have to offer up their territory and a third of the kingdom's wealth after encountering Zhou's army. The Dragon Lady Lord even promised to give the Blazing Sun Kingdom 100 Drake Seeds with Dragon Bloodline. Their strength ranged from Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade to White Silver Tier Advanced Grade. The Undead Lord would give the Blazing Sun Kingdom a Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade Pure-Blooded Bone Dragon. In the future, the Mystic Heaven Lord would be in charge of the detection of the subject's spiritual roots in the Blazing Sun Kingdom. Moreover, the other party had agreed to apply to the Black Heaven Sect. In the future, he would build a Black Heaven Sect branch in the Blazing Sun Kingdom so that those with spiritual root aptitude in the Blazing Sun Kingdom could enter a sect and cultivate immortal arts. This way, the Chi practitioner subjects who walked out of the Black Heaven Sect's branch sect would naturally serve the Blazing Sun Kingdom in the future. Of course, the materials, mist cores, and other supplies needed to establish the Black Heaven Sect needed the Blazing Sun Kingdom to provide and buy them. The Blazing Sun Kingdom also needed to provide wages to the Chi practitioners of the Heavenly Profound Sect who came to establish a subsect. Towards this, Zhou agreed readily. He was also a Chi practitioner, so he naturally knew how powerful they were. Even though it was impossible for every Chi practitioner to be as strong as his Chaos Sacred Body, as long as he could nurture a group of Chi practitioners for his territory, even the most ordinary Chi practitioners would be comparable to Kingdom-level combat professionals or even Empire-level combat professionals in Zhou's judgment. Moreover, in any case, he was worried about not having a place to spend the Mist Core. Treat it as an investment. After recalling the conditions given by these three families, Zhou smiled. Zhou felt that it was very profitable that these three kingdom tokens could be exchanged for so many benefits. Otherwise, these three extraordinary tier advanced grade kingdom tokens would be useless to him and could only be placed in the king's treasure box to eat dust. He did not mind. He opened the Mystic Heaven Lord's chat box and typed, "Lord of the Blazing Sun, how do you plan to let me lead you to destroy that dark martial lord?" Mystic Heaven Lord. Actually, I know the location of His Majesty's territory. Zhou did not care much when he saw his regeneration. The location of his territory had long been semi-public after the previous few exposures. He was not very surprised that the Mystic Heaven Lord knew. Lord of the Blazing Sun. And then, Mystic Heaven Lord. I discovered an incomplete ancient teleportation array near the territory not long ago. This ancient teleportation array should have been left behind by a previous cultivator. Black Heaven Lord. After I reported this ancient teleportation array to the higher-ups of the Black Heaven Sect, a Class 9 Array Master at the Tribulation Transcendence stage, Legendary Tier, took action. After repairing it, I realized that it led to the ruins of a dilapidated immortal sect. Mystic Heaven Lord. When we discovered the ruins of this immortal sect, there were no treasures inside. However, that Array Master still repaired its ancient teleportation array and gave it to our Mystic Heaven City. He said that it was our last way out. Mystic Heaven Lord. Then, I personally went there and realized that the location of this immortal sect ruin was actually very close to His Majesty's Blazing Sun Kingdom. According to the calculations of my scouts, His Majesty's soldiers only need to travel more than 50 million kilometers north from the border of the Blazing Sun Kingdom to reach this immortal sect ruin. Actually, more than 50 million kilometers was still a very long distance for most of the lords of the Cerulean planet. However, the mystic Heaven Lord believed that this distance was definitely not considered far for the strongest lord of all races in the previous event. In fact, that was indeed the case. Zhou was a little surprised when he saw the words typed by the mystic Heaven Lord. More than 50 million kilometers was indeed very close. One had to know that the Starry Night spaceship under his command had advanced by leaps and bounds in all aspects after absorbing the spaceship technology he had obtained from Lord Father. And now, the flying speed of the top Starry Night under his command had increased from 8,000 to 9,000 kilometers per hour to more than 500 million kilometers per hour. More than 50 million kilometers? His Starry Night could arrive in 5 to 6 minutes. Mystic Heaven Lord, if your majesty is at ease with me, you can directly send troops to the Immortal Sect ruins and come to my territory through the spatial teleportation array. Then, you can head to the territory of the Black Martial Alliance. Mystic Heaven Lord. My Mystic Heaven Alliance and the Dark Martial Alliance are not far from each other. It will be very convenient for your majesty to rest or go on an expedition. Zhou agreed without much hesitation. This was the confidence brought about by strength. Of course, he would not be unprepared. He took out a contract and wrote down the content of their conversation, including the transaction of the kingdom token. After writing it, Zhou confirmed it carefully again. After confirming that there was no problem, he signed it himself and sent it to the Mystic Heaven Lord to sign it too. Unlike Zhou, this was the first time the Mystic Heaven Lord had come into contact with this thing. After a long time, only then did he carefully sign his name on the contract and complete this contract. Soon, Zhou looked at the golden scale mark that had already appeared in his palm and smiled. With this contract, the other party was truly trustworthy. Lord of the Blazing Sun, send me the location. If nothing goes wrong, I'll go over tomorrow morning. In addition, send me a copy of the Dark Martial Lord's military distribution and faction distribution. Don't say that you don't have them. The two Lord Alliances of the Cerulean planet had been at odds with each other for so long. It would be suspicious if there was no information about the other party's war. Mystic Heaven Lord, of course. After saying that in less than 2 to 3 seconds, Zhou received a paper document from him. After Zhou opened it, he took a rough look and clicked his tongue in wonder. This Dark Martial Lord was not even as strong as the Aurora Kingdom when it was on the verge of destruction. A keyboard warrior, right? I'll be a keyboard warrior tomorrow. Zhou thought maliciously. Zhou and the Mystic Heaven Lord discussed the details of their cooperation tomorrow before ending the conversation. The Night Empire's faction quests, the invasion of the Refined Flame Scarlet Legion, and the attack on the Black Martial Lord. There's a lot going on tomorrow. Zhou thought about his schedule for tomorrow and could not help but sigh. Then, he thought about it and felt that he should have enough time. It shouldn't take long to attack the Black Martial Lord after all. The remaining time should be more than enough to do the first 2 things. At most, I won't do the Night Empire's faction quests for the time being. I'll let it go for a day. After dealing with the Black Martial Lord, I'll focus on dealing with the invasion of the Refined Flame Scarlet Legion. Zhou thought. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Come in, Zhou said casually. Soon, Aaliyah opened the door and walked over quickly. Your Majesty, Prime Minister Zhang just came over to say that all the lords of the Ice Demon Kingdom have arrived at the Blazing Sun Kingdom and are waiting in conference room 1 of the administrative hall. Aaliyah said respectfully. I almost forgot about this. Zhou stood up and walked out of the room towards the administrative hall. In the administrative hall, conference room 1, when Zhou arrived, he saw more than 100,000 ice ghost lords gathered here. Greetings, Your Majesty. When Zhou entered, the sharp-eyed ice ghost lords immediately discovered him. Then, someone took the lead, and the entire conference room immediately sounded with fanatical shouts. Zhou smiled and walked onto the stage. He looked at the 100,000 ice ghost lords who were shouting fanatically in front of him and felt a little emotional. This was the foundation of an intermediate kingdom. Previously, he had gathered all the lords of the Aurora Kingdom and the Titan Kingdom, the 2 beginner kingdoms, but there were only more than 10,000 lords. Currently, There were already more than 100,000 lords from the Ice Demon Kingdom's intermediate kingdom. It could be seen how huge the difference between the beginner kingdom and the intermediate kingdom was. However, the more lords came, the more lord talent crystal fragments he could obtain. He was naturally even happier. Everyone, stop shouting. I can already feel your enthusiasm. Zhou smiled and comforted her. All the Ice Ghost Lords laughed when they heard this. Then they gradually quietened down. At this moment, Your Majesty, it's the same as last time. This is the specific list of all the Ice Ghost Lords this time. It records their abilities, strength, and previous Lord experiences. Zhang Yuanqi walked over and handed Zhou a list as he whispered. Zhou nodded and took it. He took a rough look before a smile appeared on his face. There were actually a total of 116,255 Ice Ghost Lords. How many Lord Talent crystal fragments would this provide him? He was looking forward to it. Then, he suppressed the excitement in his heart and looked up at the Ice Ghost Lords in front of him. Since you can come here, you should know why I called you here. Let me explain something that's not clear. Firstly, I want to see everyone's aptitude. If your aptitude is good, I won't be stingy with the rewards. Secondly, as the Blazing Sun Kingdom expanded, the place also needs more and more capable officials to take over and take care of the livelihood development of the people. I called you all here to make it easier for you to arrange your positions in the future. Of course, everyone is from the Ice Demon state. When our officials arrange positions, they will naturally prioritize you to take up positions in the Ice Demon state. You can rest assured about this. In terms of treatment, our Blazing Sun Kingdom is famous for treating officials well. Everyone should have heard of this, right? Zhou said. When the Ice Ghosts heard this, they nodded in agreement. They had naturally done some investigations before coming to the Blazing Sun Kingdom. In particular, they knew why they were here, so the focus of their investigation was on how they would be treated after becoming local officials. He would not have known if he did not investigate, but the results were shocking. Good God! Was the treatment of the officials of the Blazing Sun Kingdom so good? The minimum fixed monthly salary of a regional lord of a yellow gold tier regional territory was 500 yellow gold tier mist cores. If he made outstanding political achievements, he would be rewarded with at least 100 white silver tier mist cores and the highest unrestricted political achievement reward. Every time the average loyalty of the subjects in the territory increased by 1 point, they would be rewarded with 10,000 diamond tier mist cores. They were stunned when they found out about the reward mechanism for these officials' performance. What was going on with the Blazing Sun Kingdom? They looked at the Mist Core like it was dirt. Did they have a grudge against the Mist Core? As for the rules that did not allow them to bully the weak for no reason, even though they were not used to it, they immediately felt that, what kind of question was this? As long as the Mist Core was in place, it was fine even if the race was changed. Seeing that the Ice Ghosts did not seem to have any objections, Zhou got someone to distribute the specific reward and punishment system. After all the Ice Ghosts read it and expressed no objections, Zhou raised the main reason why he was here. Next, I'll do something to verify your loyalty. Please don't resist. After the verification is completed, you will really be one of us. I will also give you some rewards, he said. When the Ice Ghost Lords heard this, their expressions were filled with anticipation. They thought of something they had heard about this before they came. It was said that as long as a lord passed this step, they would be rewarded by the King of the Blazing Sun with at least 1,000 special soldier type, the King of Yellow Gold class certificate. That was a special soldier type. Special soldier types could be considered top-notch even in the Ice Demon Kingdom. It was not something ordinary Ice Ghost Lords could come into contact with. Now, they had a chance to obtain such a dreamlike top-notch soldier type under the King of the Blazing Sun. How could they not look forward to it? On the stage, Zhou was also looking forward to it. He took a deep breath and the chaotic origin energy in his body surged into the Master Thief's robbery gloves on his right arm. The next second, he used the Master Thief's robbery gloves to steal all the Lord Talent crystal fragments of the more than 100,000 Ice Ghost Lords in front of him into his king's treasure box. He took a look and was pleasantly surprised to discover that these 116,255 lords had actually provided him with 601,125 black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 6,514 green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 2,690 white Silver Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 1,550 yellow Gold Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 620 white Platinum Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 133 Diamond Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 21 Extraordinary Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 5 Epic Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. Zhou took a deep breath and barely suppressed his excitement. Compared to the treasure vault of the Ice Demon Kingdom, these Lord Talent Crystal Fragments in front of him were the greatest treasures he had obtained. After that, Zhou chatted briefly with the Ice Ghost Lords before handing everything over to Zhang Yuanqi. Then he left. Then, he walked out of the administrative hall and returned to the Advanced Grade Lord's Paradise. In a study room in the Advanced Grade Lord's Paradise, Zhou sat in front of the desk. He opened his Lord Talent panel with a thought. I can upgrade my Lord Talent this time. Zhou looked at his 28 Lord Talents and smiled. Then, after some thought, he took out 10 Diamond Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments and fused them into a Diamond Tier Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystals. Zhou looked at the Diamond Tier Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystals and chanted in his heart. The next second, the Diamond Tier Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystals in his hand emitted a bright diamond light. A text notification appeared. You have 3 white Platinum Tier Lord Talents at the same time: Monster Ranch, Mysterious Caravan, and Dragon Slaying Hometown. Please choose one to advance. I choose to advance the Monster Ranch, Zhou said without hesitation. Monster Ranch was the fastest way to increase his military strength among the many methods he currently had. Even the Insight Defection, which had advanced to the Epic Tier Lord Talent, was inferior to the soldiers provided to him by the White Platinum Tier Monster Ranch. Of course, this did not mean that Insight Defection was weak. However, up until now, Zhou had not touched the upper limit of Insight Defection. In other words, it was a Lord faction that had incited the Insight Defection's mid-tier deity level intermediate grade. Lord factions of this level usually represented veteran Empire-level Lord factions. Zhou had never instigated an old Empire-level Lord faction like this. He had only instigated a lower-level Lord faction. Under such circumstances, the number of enemies who instigated an instigation naturally did not seem to be as many as the new recruits provided by the Monster Ranch. However, even so, it could be seen how great the potential of the Monster Ranch was. Therefore, after Zhou thought of upgrading his Lord Talent, the first thing he wanted to upgrade was the Monster Ranch. As for the 2 white Platinum Tier Lord Talents, Mysterious Caravan and Dragon Slaying Hometown, the former had just been upgraded not long ago, and there was no need to continue upgrading it for the time being. As for the latter, Zhou did not know what use it had. Under such circumstances, naturally, he had to save the Lord Talent Crystal Fragments to upgrade his main Lord Talent. Lord Talent has been chosen. Upgrading in progress. The next second, he felt a familiar warm feeling between his eyebrows. Zhou's expression was calm. A moment later, the warmth on his forehead gradually disappeared. A new text notification appeared. Lord Talent upgrade successful. Congratulations, your White Platinum Tier Lord Talent, Monster Ranch, has been upgraded to Diamond Tier Lord Talent. Monster Ranch. You have leveled up to Diamond Tier Lord Talent effect. Lord Talent. Monster Ranch, Diamond Tier. Monster Ranch. Your territory has the method to build a special building. Monster Ranch. After upgrading to Diamond Tier Lord Talent, the information of this talent still hasn't changed. Looks like I have to ask Mu Gu to come over. Zhou looked at the information of the upgraded Monster Ranch and muttered to himself. Then, without hesitation, he took out 10 Extraordinary Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments and fused them into an Extraordinary Tier Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystals, directly upgrading the Monster Ranch to Extraordinary Tier Lord Talent. However, what made Zhou a little speechless was that even if he upgraded to the Extraordinary Tier Lord Talent again, the talent information of the Monster Ranch did not change. He shook his head and did not mind. He called Atli over and asked her to inform Mugu to come over immediately after he recovered. Atli took the order and left a moment later. Mugu came over. "Greetings, Your Majesty," he said respectfully. "Can you feel your improvement? Tell me the details." Jojo smiled. "Yes, Your Majesty." Mugu nodded and slowly said, "Your Majesty, I am still an extraordinary tier elementary grade monster rancher and monster patriarch. However, I now have a total of 10,000 monster shepherds under me. In addition, the number of monster ranches under my command has also increased from 100 to 500 today. Moreover, the maximum capacity of each monster ranch has increased from 100,000 to 500,000. Jojo could not help but click his tongue. Each monster ranch could accommodate 500,000 fog monsters. Wouldn't a total of 500 monster ranches be able to accommodate 250 million ranch monsters? Good God! Jojo instantly felt that the invasion of the refined flame Scarlet Legion tomorrow would not be a problem. There were a total of 250 million ranch monsters. Jojo did not even need to send troops. When the other party's Scarlet Army arrived tomorrow, he would directly get Mugu to order these 250 million ranch monsters to attack the other party's Scarlet Army with all their might. It would probably be enough to kill most of them. Most importantly, the ranch monsters were not afraid of the scarlet fog in the night, which meant his ranch monsters could completely go against the other party's Scarlet Legion in the night without any scruples. The problem that Jojo was most worried about previously disappeared. "Not bad, not bad," Jojo praised. "Your Majesty, I'm not done yet." Mugu smiled. "What other improvements?" Jojo was a little surprised. "Your Majesty, please take a look." Mugu stretched out his right hand and saw an irregular square mini-continent slowly appear in his palm. Jojo's vision was astonishing. He could tell at a glance that the mini-continent in Mugu's hands was actually neatly arranged with a vast monster ranch. Moreover, every monster ranch was currently rearing a huge number of fog monsters. "This is a continent?" Jojo hesitated. "Yes." Mugu nodded and smiled. "After Your Majesty's improvement, I suddenly realized that a continent had appeared out of thin air in my body. It's called Ranchland Continent. This continent seems to be specially made for raising monsters. Its area is about 800,000 square kilometers, and monster ranches are naturally built inside. Moreover, there's no need for me to personally control each monster ranch. Every day, a huge number of monster ranch monsters will automatically appear in the early morning to fill the gap in the monster ranch. This pattern is very rigid. The next time to fill the vacancy in the monster ranch will probably be at dawn the day after tomorrow. Moreover, the size of this ranchland continent, the number of monster ranches, and the upper limit of each monster ranch to accommodate monsters will also increase with the strength of its subordinates. I also used this opportunity to comprehend my path to becoming a god. This path to becoming a god will probably follow the laws of cultivation, feeding, monsters, and so on. Because of the path of laws, my class name is no longer the Monster Patriarch. It's the God of Pastures. This god doesn't mean that my strength has already reached the god spirit realm, but because I have mastered a continental world that completely belongs to me. Therefore, I achieved the name of this priesthood with the status of the god of the world. Mugu explained his abilities one by one. After Jojo heard this, he was naturally overjoyed. He had never expected this. Monster Ranch's upgrade to Extraordinary Tier Lord talent actually had such a huge increase. Not only did the number of monsters that could be reared increase greatly, but Mugu also comprehended his own path to becoming a god and controlled such a magical continent. This improvement, anyone who heard this would probably say that it was ridiculous. Can someone else enter your monster continent? Jojo looked at the mini-continent in Jojo's hand and suddenly asked, "Sure. I'm the creation god of this continental world. I naturally control everything in this continental world, including allowing life forms to enter and expel them. But I'm not omnipotent. If an expert above the low-tier deity level descends on my monster continent, Because the other party's strength has already exceeded the upper limit of my world's energy level, it would be fine if the other party doesn't have any hostility. They can still live peacefully in my ranchland continent and won't cause any damage to it. However, if the other party has evil intentions, after entering the ranch world, he can completely destroy my world by himself. Even if he doesn't destroy my world, the other party can come and go as he pleases. My world can't trap the other party at all. Mugu shook his head. Zhou nodded. Even though there were these restrictions, it was also very difficult to hide the excellence of this ranchland continent. Zhou thought for a moment and said, "These 500 monster ranches will use 200 to nurture the violent storm demon spirit, 100 to nurture the king of yellow gold, 100 to nurture the mechanical fear falcon, 50 to nurture the iron-eating bear, and 50 to nurture the withered tree. As for the poisonous crossbow soldier type represented by the black-tailed fog scorpion, it was temporarily not produced. The soldier type was too weak and was too far behind his version. It was really not worth nurturing. And the current ranch cultivation configuration. It satisfied the long-range spell attack configuration of Zhou's army, the melee meat shield configuration, the flying arms configuration, the land mount configuration, and the territory's economic source, Jade Sun Tree. At the moment, it could barely be considered perfect. It's a pity that up until now, I haven't encountered any monsters that dropped medical class change certificates and recruitment books. Otherwise, the spoils of war from my monster ranch would be perfect. Zhou thought greedily. Actually, during this period of time, the Lords of the Star Alliance had been sending him all kinds of monsters for him to see. Unfortunately, monsters were easy to come by. Good trophies were hard to come by. After that, Zhou chatted with Mugu for a while before letting him leave. After Mugu left, Zhou's gaze landed on his Lord Talent interface. He had obtained too many Lord Talent crystal fragments today. He estimated that he would have to upgrade many useful Lord Talents. Soon, his gaze landed on a Lord Talent. It was the Diamond Tier Lord Talent, the shelter of the Goddess of Life. I think you should take a look at. There are more and more soldiers under my command now. Especially with the Monster Ranch talent that allowed me to level up 2 times in a row. The growth of my soldiers will only become more and more terrifying. Monsters without the class change certificate and recruitment books. Then we can only let the number of clergymen who have mastered the small resurrection spell catch up first. At the thought of this, Zhou no longer hesitated. He took out 10 extraordinary tier Lord Talent crystal fragments and fused them into an extraordinary tier Lord Talent origin divine crystals. Then, he upgraded the shelter of the Goddess of Life. Soon, the Lord Talent information of the Goddess of Life's shelter appeared. Lord Talent, the shelter of the Goddess of Life, extraordinary tier. The shelter of the Goddess of Life. Your territory will have a special building, the shelter of the Goddess of Life. I have to go to Carol Moeli's place too. At the thought of this, Zhou did not hesitate. He walked out of the advanced grade Lord's paradise and walked towards the shelter of the Goddess of Life. In front of the shelter of the Goddess of Life. After Zhou arrived, he looked at the building in front of him. The upgraded Goddess of Life's shelter was now more than 300 meters tall. It was made of silver and gold bricks. The temples were connected to each other, forming a temple complex. Around the temple complex, the air was fresh and green. Passers-by only needed to take a breath of the air here to feel much more relaxed. Some sick old men sat in wheelchairs and greedily absorbed the air here, as if the air here was a panacea. And right in front of the shelter, a statue of the Goddess of Life stood here. Her face was still beautiful, and she was wearing a green religious dress with gold trimmings. She looked dignified and solemn, but also kind and natural. Zhou looked solemnly at the tall statue of the Goddess of Life. He could actually sense a rich aura of life divine power from this statue. It was as if the statue was the Goddess of Life herself. He took a deep breath and did not dare to think too much about it. Then, he looked at the building information. Building name: the Shelter of the Goddess of Life. Building level: Special grade. Building function 1. Archbishop Carol Moeli of the shelter and her clergymen, priests, nuns, and other clergymen can each provide the lord and subject of the territory with basic protection services 3 times a day for free. However, if you need more protection in the future, you will need to spend mist cores or faith divine crystals to buy them. Currently providing shelter types. Basic shelter service. Life Holy Water, 1 green bronze tier mist core. Basic shelter service. Life Healing Technique, 2 green bronze tier mist cores. Basic shelter service. Appeasement, 2 green bronze tier mist cores. Basic shelter service. Mental Communication, 2 green bronze tier mist cores. Advanced Protection, hire a life priest, 1 faith divine crystals per day. Advanced Protection, hire a life paladin, 3 faith divine crystals per day. Advanced Protection, divine art, soul restoration, 1 faith divine crystal. Advanced Protection, divine art, limb restoration, 5 faith divine crystals. Advanced Protection, divine art, holy protection, 5 faith divine crystals. Advanced Protection, divine art, small resurrection, 5 faith divine crystals. Advanced Protection, divine art, great resurrection, 1 faith divine crystals. Building Function 2. When the Lord and his forces go out to hunt fog monsters, they will encounter fog monsters with a small chance of dropping scarlet crystals. After handing the scarlet crystals to the shelter of the goddess of life, they can be converted into faith divine crystals and exchange for the protection they want. Construction upgrade. This building originates from the Lord talent and cannot be upgraded. Prompt 1. The above level of the shelter service will increase as the territory level increases. Prompt 2. Building Effect 2 is the exclusive building effect of this special building. The shelter of the goddess of life, doesn't have this ability. Building description. The goddess of life saw that all life forms in the world were suffering from war, so she built the shelter of the goddess of life everywhere in the high continent to reduce the death of life forms. All life forms who enter the shelter of the goddess of life are protected by the goddess of life. There is a lot of upgrade. Jojo was a little surprised. Firstly, Carol Moeli had been promoted from archbishop to cardinal. As a cardinal personally conferred by the goddess of life, its status was already comparable to the pope of some veteran kingdom-level lord factions. The number of asylum services added another high-level asylum service on top of the 3 basic shelter services. The next was the greatest improvement. The prices of the basic shelter service and advanced shelter service provided by the shelter of the goddess of life had almost halved. The prices of some services had even decreased even more. Nonetheless, the price of using the Great Resurrection spell was still 1 Holy Spirit tier faith divine crystal. Finally, the probability of dropping scarlet crystals had increased from a small probability to a high probability. This was naturally useless to Jojo. His drop rate was 100% after all. There was no difference between a higher chance and a lower chance for him. Not bad, not bad. Jojo nodded in satisfaction. At this moment, the door of the shelter suddenly opened slowly. Carol Moeli walked out of the shelter with 5 clergymen in archbishop attire. Cardinal Carol Moeli greets Your Majesty. Archbishop Barry Millie / Julius Marcia / McPherson Muriel / Bloomer Bridget / Collins Mamie greets Your Majesty. The 6 of them said respectfully. Are they the subordinates sent by the goddess of life to assist you? Jojo asked with interest. Cardinal. 5 archbishops. Such a configuration was not rare among veteran kingdom-level lord factions. However, it was quite surprising in a lord faction that had just established its territory. Yes, Your Majesty. They have mastered the Great Resurrection spell and other divine arts. They are the most elite clergymen in the shelter, Carol Moeli said respectfully. How many clerics have mastered the Great Resurrection spell in your shelter now? Jojo asked curiously. There are now as many as 20 cardinal-level clerics who have mastered the Great Resurrection spell in the shelter, Carol Moeli said truthfully. Jojo nodded. There were so many of these expertises that they were overflowing. How many clerics are there in the shelter now? How strong are they? Jojo asked. The shelter of the goddess of life has 10 million clergymen, 10 million priests, 10 million nuns, and 100 million paladins of life after our Lord talent was upgraded to extraordinary tier. And my strength has also risen to the level of low-tier deity level advanced grade. Zhou clicked his tongue. Good God! A total of 140 million clergymen. The soldiers under his command and the soldiers of the Star Alliance did not even have 100 million. Zhou suddenly felt that it was a pity at the thought of this. The nature of these 140 million clergymen was similar to mercenaries. They basically wouldn't help him without using the faith divine crystals. He shook his head, unconcerned. He was confident now that he had an extraordinary tier monster ranch. The total number of soldiers under his command would exceed 100 million by the next day. Then, he suddenly thought of something. Since you're already at low-tier deity level advanced grade, do resurrect a god for me. Zhou said. Your Majesty, please follow me. Carol Moeli didn't ask how strong the god that Zhou had resurrected was. Since His Majesty said it himself, he could definitely be resurrected. In other words, his strength was below hers. A moment later, in the shelter of the Goddess of Life. In the main hall, Your Majesty, please give me 20 Holy Spirit tier faith divine crystals and the other party's divine item. Carol Moeli said. Zhou flipped his right hand, and 20 Holy Spirit tier faith divine crystals and the Black Moon blade appeared in his hand. He handed it to the other party. After Carol Moeli took it, she went to the statue of the Goddess of Life and began to preside over the great resurrection spell. She raised the scepter in her hands with both hands, closed her eyes and muttered something. It was different from the past. Zhou watched this scene with a serious expression. This time it was a god spirit that had revived, which meant the will of the Goddess of Life would personally descend. When he thought about how one of the 10 master god tiers was about to appear in front of him, Zhou would be lying if he said that he wasn't nervous and excited. At this moment, boom! A terrifying god spirit pressure suddenly descended. At this moment, all the living beings within 100 kilometers discovered a tall, dignified, but intimate, female figure in the depths of their hearts. 99% of these life forms had never seen this life form in their lives. However, at this moment they naturally knew the other party's name in their minds. He was the source of life. He was also the mother of all living beings. He was the goddess of salvation. He was the undead deity, and he was the goddess of all races. He was goddess of life. Carol Moeli, who was closing her eyes and chanting, suddenly opened her eyes slowly. Emerald green light filled with life aura poured out of his opened eyes. Rare plants grew seedlings out of thin air where the light illuminated. Then, as if there was no limit to their growth time, they grew crazily, bloomed, and bore fruits before stagnating at the most beautiful stage. When he completely opened his eyes, his surroundings had already become a place surrounded by flowers, plants, and trees. Moreover, it seemed to be spreading incessantly. Zhou watched this scene calmly. Was this the power of one of the 10 master god tiers? Such a phenomenon. It was simply as if the laws were personally involved. Her Excellency, the Goddess of Life, is probably not weak even among the 10 master god tier, he thought to himself. At this moment, he was surprised to discover that the first thing this Goddess of Life did not look at the Black Moon blade to revive the Black Moon King after the will descended. Instead, she looked straight at him. Interesting little guy. A dignified voice with a faint smile sounded from all directions. It was as if it filled the entire world. Among the lords of all races, you are the only lord who has comprehended the Lord's law. However, your path is right, but your heart is on the wrong path. With that, the Goddess of Life did not continue. She waved her hand and sprinkled an emerald green divine power on the Black Moon blade. Then, a phantom was pulled out of thin air and landed on the Black Moon blade. Then, it gradually condensed into a figure wearing a black royal robe with a pitch-black face. There was a silver moon mark on his forehead and a black crown on his head. It was the Black Moon King. At this moment, the Black Moon King was already breathing steadily even though his eyes were closed. It was obvious that he had been revived. Zhou heaved a sigh of relief. Then he frowned slightly. Her Excellency, the goddess of life. What did she mean by saying that his heart was on the wrong path? When he looked at Carol Moali again, he realized that the emerald green light in his eyes had already disappeared, leaving only a pale and tired expression and the surrounding scene. "How are you?" Zhou immediately walked over and supported him. "It's okay, Your Majesty. I'm just a little tired." Carol Moali forced a smile. Zhou thought for a moment and took out a pill from his king's treasure box. This medicinal pill was called the Heaven-Returning Divine Pill. It was a low-tier deity-level advanced-grade god-tier pill. It was a god-tier medicinal pill specially used to restore his own state among the many god-tier items he had obtained. If a god spirit exhausted all its divine power, as long as he consumed this moment's heaven-returning divine pill, he could allow a low-tier deity to quickly recover all his divine power in just a minute and return to his peak state. In the outside world, this god-tier pill was extremely precious even to god spirits. But to Zhou, such a low-tier deity-level advanced-grade medicinal pill could casually drop more than 10 or even dozens of legendary-tier advanced-grade enemies. Naturally, it was not rare. This pill is too precious. When Carol Moali saw the pill and felt the rich aura of divinity emitting from it, she immediately realized how precious it was and hurriedly refused. In his eyes, he could recover his state as long as he rested. There was no need to use such a precious medicinal pill. "Take it." Zhou shook his head and placed it forcefully in Carol Moali's hand. "Thank you, Your Majesty." Carol Moali blushed slightly when she sensed the aura on His Majesty. Then, she returned to her indifferent state. Zhou did not notice the other party's expression. He walked in front of the Black Moon King and realized that he had already woken up and sat up. "Is this the territory of the Blazing Sun Kingdom? Were you the one who revived me? Are you the king of the Blazing Sun?" The Black Moon King looked at the Lord of the Blazing Sun blankly. Zhou nodded. "How long have I been dead? 10 years? 100 years? Or tens of millions of years?" The Black Moon King said with a complicated gaze. He was already prepared to accept the changes in the world. "Senior died in battle the day before yesterday and was revived today," Zhou said without thinking. "Black Moon King. Just 2 days." His gaze became even more complicated. "Senior, do you think you haven't been dead long enough?" Zhou hesitated for a moment before understanding what the other party meant. Unexpectedly, the other party nodded in agreement. "I can brag to those old fellows when I get back if I was dead for a longer time. I'm not afraid of death and will fight the Supreme Will alone. Now that I've been revived in less than 2 days, how will those old fellows look at my deed of fighting the Supreme Will fearlessly when I return? Those who don't know might think that I've discussed it with you and found the Supreme Will to farm battle results," the Black Moon King said with a pained expression. Zhou. Looking for the Supreme Will to farm battle results. Why was this big shot's brain so strange? Moreover, could you be considered to have a huge battle with the Supreme Will? You were instantly killed, all right? He was a little speechless. However, he did not undermine the other party at this time. After a long time, the Black Moon King finally came back to his senses from this complicated emotion. "How are the subjects of the Kingdom of Black Moon Kingdom?" he asked. "General Yuluo has already brought all 36 million subjects of the Black Moon Kingdom to my kingdom safely. If Senior wants to rebuild the Black Moon Kingdom, I can safely send all 37 million subjects to you," Zhou said. While he valued his subjects very much and hoped that he would have more and more of them, he would not lick his face and force the other party's subjects to stay when the original king was revived. In any case, he was not short of 37 million subjects. Why did he have to do such a thing? The Black Moon King looked at Zhou and a gratified smile appeared on his face. "I did not make the wrong decision that day," he thought to himself. There was nothing that was disappointing about the human in front of him, be it in terms of power, potential, ability, personality, and character. How rare. He sighed in his heart. "I want to tour your kingdom. May I?" the Black Moon King asked. "Of course." Zhou nodded and asked, "However, Senior, your subordinate, General Yuluo, seems to want you to be revived. Do you want to tell him? Yu Luo. The Black Moon King nodded. I'll tell him later. He should be bringing the wealth of my Black Moon Kingdom to the human capital to meet the Emperor. Let's not interrupt him at this time. Emperor. Zhou was a little curious. The Black Moon King nodded, reverence appearing on his face. He looked at Zhou and said solemnly, "The Emperor is the leader of our human race. He is the only candidate personally chosen by the will of the human race to lead the human race. Whether it's strength, character, personality, dedication, recognition, and responsibility to the human race, they can be considered the strongest among the human race. You should have a chance to see the Emperor in the future. At that time, you must remember to respect him." Zhou was a little surprised. There was actually a leader of the human race chosen by the will of humans. It seemed that this person was definitely an impeccable person in all aspects. According to the bloodline inheritance in his mind, the will of the race was almost equivalent to a small account of the supreme will that had its slot decreased countless times for a race. The leader of the race chosen in such a way naturally would not be the wrong choice. I will. Zhou agreed seriously. The Black Moon King smiled and nodded. It was already late. It was clearly not very convenient for the Black Moon King to go out and take a look at his Blazing Sun Kingdom, nor could he see the entire Blazing Sun Kingdom. Therefore, the Black Moon King took the initiative to ask Zhou to arrange a place for him to stay. He would go out and take a look at the territory scenery of the Blazing Sun Kingdom tomorrow morning. Zhou naturally would not refuse. He immediately sent someone to make arrangements. After making the arrangements, the two of them separated. When Zhou walked out of the shelter of the Goddess of Life, he was surprised to discover that there were actually dense subjects surrounding the shelter. Among these subjects, there were human subjects, other people of foreign races, and even some holy clergymen of the Holy Elven race. It should have been attracted by the phenomenon of the Goddess of Life's descent just now. He thought to himself. Zhou did not mind. He casually cast an invisibility spell on himself and left, returning to the Advanced Grade Lord's Paradise. In a study room in the Advanced Grade Lord's Paradise, Zhou sat back in his previous seat and opened his Lord Talent panel again. He gazed at his 28 Lord Talents. Zhou looked at it for a while before his gaze landed on Insight Defection. I have 14 Epic Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments on hand now. I can upgrade Insight Defection to the Epic Tier. But, do I really need to upgrade it? Zhou hesitated. His idea was to keep these high-level Lord Talent Crystal Fragments to upgrade the Blessing of the War God. The Epic Tier Lord Talent, Blessing of the War God, could not only quickly increase the combat strength of the lower-level soldiers, it could also greatly increase the speed at which the high-end combat strength under his command increased. This was something that the two Lord Talents, Monster Ranch and Insight Defection, could not do. And now, according to the enemies he had come into contact with so far, he had enough soldiers, and they were even overflowing. However, he could not keep up with the high-end combatants. From the combat strength of a god spirit, excluding Heros and Zaiwu, the two god spirit external helpers, and Carol Moeli, the half-mercenary. The only god spirit that truly belonged to him under his command was the low-tier deity-level Lady Iceflower, Vicky. As for his current opponents, which one of them did not have a few low-tier god spirits under their command? Which one of them did not have a few low-tier god spirits under their command? If not for the fact that true god tier could not easily fight in the high continent, Zhou even felt that he might have encountered a true god tier god spirit. From this, it could be seen how scarce the high-end combatants under his command were. At the thought of this, Zhou decided to leave these 14 Epic Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments behind to upgrade the Blessing of the War God to the Legendary Tier in the future. Now, I have 5 Legendary Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments and 14 Epic Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, which means I only need to gather another 36 Epic Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments or 4 Legendary Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments to upgrade the Blessing of the War God. This number shouldn't be too many, Zhou thought. The tribulation of all races in front of him was the best opportunity to gather these Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. Then, he looked at the other Lord Talents. He thought about it. Zhou made a decision. Upgrade the Gnome Alchemy Workshop, green bronze tier. Return to the City, yellow gold tier. Gift of the Machina, white silver tier. Embrace of the Conqueror, white silver tier. Fighting God Full-Time Master 2, green bronze tier. Trashman, yellow gold tier. Sturdy Constitution, green bronze tier. Peach Luck, green bronze tier. Beauty, green bronze tier. Spirit Body 3, white silver tier. Zhou thought. In any case, they were all low-level Lord talents. After leveling up, it would not affect the upgrade of the high-level Lord talent. He took out the Lord talent crystal fragments and began to upgrade them one by one. Soon, all the Lord talents had been upgraded. Lord talent, Alchemy Union, Diamond tier. Specific talent effect 1. There is a special building in your territory, the Alchemy Association. In this Alchemy Association, a large number of alchemy pharmacists, alchemy technicians, alchemy engineers, alchemy enchanters, and other alchemy professionals are gathered. They often sold some alchemy class products and only needed to spend a certain amount of mist cores to buy them from those alchemy professionals. You can also provide them with materials to let these alchemy professionals work for you. Specific talent effect 2. You can spend a different number of mist cores to send your subjects to the Alchemy Union to choose an advanced alchemy professional to further their studies. From there, they can change their profession to alchemy professionals. Specific talent effect 3. When the Lord or the forces under the Lord go out to hunt fog monsters, they will encounter fog monsters that have a very small chance of dropping alchemy items. This includes but is not limited to alchemy potion recipes, alchemy technology product blueprints, alchemy materials packs, alchemy technology master recruitment orders, alchemy items, Lord talent. Return to the City, yellow gold tier. Return to the City. No matter where you are, you will immediately return to your territory and recover 100% of your physical state in the next 8 seconds after chanting the designated password. You can also specify 10 million life forms or 10 million units of supplies to return to your territory together. If the designated person is a life form, he will recover 50% of his physical state in the next hour. Lord Talent Notification. This talent can be activated 4 times a day. Lord Talent. Gift of the Machina, Diamond tier. Gift of the Machina. There is a Diamond tier advanced grade spaceship, Galaxy, from the machinery race in your territory. It is a gift from the Machina race to the lords who participated in the fight for the position of Lord of all races. It also represents the friendship between the Machina race and you. Gift of the Machina. There are 10 Diamond tier advanced grade spaceships from the Machina race, the Galaxy, in your territory. It is a gift from the Machina race to the lords who participated in the competition for the position of Lord of all races. It also represents the friendship between the Machina race and you. Specific talent effect 2. The Galaxy is the crystallization of the Machina race's technological wisdom. It has a mechanical life form that has already grown to a low-tier deity level advanced grade. He possesses a low-tier deity level elementary grade folding space function, low-tier deity level elementary grade space warehouse, low-tier deity level elementary grade spaceship defense, low-tier deity level elementary grade flight speed, low-tier deity level elementary grade life detection and anti-reconnaissance radar, low-tier deity level elementary grade space stealth, low-tier deity level elementary grade ultra-distance positioning and transmission, low-tier deity level elementary grade researchability, low-tier deity level elementary grade dark universe shuttle function, low-tier deity level elementary grade Guardians of the Galaxy, low-tier deity level elementary grade Galaxy Star God manufacturing factor, automatic repair function. Specific talent effect 3. Starry Night uses mist cores and divine crystals as its energy source. 10 legendary tier mist cores or 1 low-tier deity level elementary grade divine crystal can allow Galaxy to operate at full power for 24 hours. Lord Talent. Embrace of the Conqueror, Diamond tier. Embrace of the Conqueror 1. Every time a lord conquers a territory, he can attract a different number of classless subjects to join his territory. 2. Every time a lord conquered a regional territory, he could attract a different number of professional subjects to join his territory. 3. Every time a lord conquered a kingdom, He could obtain the loyalty of 3 heroes with an extraordinary tier hero fate level slot and 1 hero with an epic tier hero fate level slot. For every time a lord conquered an empire, he could obtain the loyalty of 3 heroes with the legendary tier hero fate level slot and 1 hero with the low tier deity level. 5. Every time a lord conquers a divine kingdom, he can obtain the loyalty of 2 heroes with the true god tier hero fate level slot. Lord Talent, full-time master of the Battle God 6, Diamond tier. Specific talent effect. You can have 6 additional combat class. Combat God hint. Once an additional class is chosen, it cannot be changed. Lord Talent, collector, Diamond tier, scavenger. You are a famous collector. You have countless treasures that are recognized by the outside world. As a collector, you have a greedy intuition towards the treasures in the world. You can acutely sense the location of the treasures within a radius of 10,000 kilometers. At the same time, if the treasure you collect has characteristics such as time-bound or endurance, you can rely on your rich collection and preservation experience to find a way to extend the usage of this treasure. It can be extended by up to 4 times. At special moments, you can also activate your collector's power and temporarily increase the number of uses of this treasure. However, this overdraft of the treasure often comes with a certain price. When you extract the loots from the corpse, the drop rate will increase by an additional 25%. Lord Talent, Connate Spirit Body, Diamond tier, sturdy constitution. Both you and your territory subject have innate spirit bodies. Your potential will increase by a large level, up to no more than the legendary tier. As an innate spirit body, not only did its body not contain any harmful impurities, but it was also easier to absorb the energy of the world. At the same time, it was easier to break through the bottleneck of the realm. Even if it failed to break through, it would not cause harm to itself. Lord Talent, Connate Spirit Body, Diamond tier, Spirit Body 3. Cultivate Constitution type Lord Talent. You and your subject have a cultivation physique like Spirit Body 6. When undergoing martial arts cultivation, elemental meditation, chi refinement meditation, and other cultivation activities, the efficiency of absorbing promotion energy has increased by 4,000%. Even if you and your subjects don't cultivate, the promotion energy wandering in the world will automatically fuse into your body and accelerate your strength realm. Lord Talent, Peach Luck, White Platinum tier, Peach Luck. Territory Folk Customs type Lord Talent. It's very easy for you and your subjects to make connections with Peach Luck. The people you meet are all people worthy of your love. Specific talent effect 1, White Platinum tier crop. Little immortality peach tree grows in a random area in the territory. It can be picked and transplanted. Specific talent effect 2, favorability increased by 100% when the subjects of the territory communicate with the opposite sex. Specific talent effect 3, the reproduction efficiency of the territory's subjects increases by 500%. Specific talent effect 4, your territory subjects will not be promiscuous and will not contract the peach blossom disease. Specific talent effect 5, the child born between a loving couple and subjects in your territory has the potential to increase by a major level. Specific talent effect 6, when a territory subject chooses a spouse, it is easier to tell from the other party's words and actions if the other party is really worthy of love. Lord Talent, Beauty, White Platinum tier, Beauty Face. The looks of you, your territory subjects, and your descendants have been permanently improved. When you encounter other life forms, it's easier to obtain their favorability immediately through your looks. Note, as you have the celestial appearance and your appearance has already reached the limit of the world, you can't be upgraded again through beauty. Among the 10 Lord Talents, other than Beauty and Peach Luck, Zhou upgraded the other Lord Talents to Diamond tier. As for why only these 2 had not been upgraded, Zhou's reason was very simple. In this chaotic world, these 2 Lord Talents were actually not very useful in war. If it was in a peaceful era, he was still willing to upgrade these 2 Lord Talents to Diamond tier. However, in the era of the Lord of all races, White Platinum tier was actually about the same. Therefore, Zhou chose to save higher-level Lord Talent crystal fragments in preparation for the upgrade of a good Lord Talent in the future. Unless he had too many high-level Lord Talent crystal fragments in the future, then he might increase these 2 Lord Talents again. As for now, forget it. Then, he looked at the 10 enhanced Lord Talents and could not help but smile. If 1 or 2 Lord Talents did not increase much, then, if so many Lord Talents were upgraded to the White Platinum tier Diamond tier, the help this would bring to the territory was probably equivalent to adding a Legendary tier Lord Talent to the territory. It feels good to use enough Lord Talent crystal fragments, Zhou lamented. Among his 28 Lord Talents, other than the Black Iron tier Lord Talent, the Hand of Wealth, which was a tool talent specially used to comprehend the Lord's Law, the other Lord Talents were already White Platinum tier Diamond tier or even higher. Zhou was excited for a while before looking at his remaining Lord Talent crystal fragments. After the recent upgrade, he still had 646,657 Black Iron tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 108,229 Green Bronze tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 2,899 White Silver tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 2,145 Yellow Gold tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 40 White Platinum tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 44 Diamond tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 22 Extraordinary tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 14 Epic tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 5 Legendary tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 6 Mythical tier Unique Lord Talent crystal fragments. Zhou nodded. Even though he had just experienced a fierce upgrade, there were still many Lord Talent crystal fragments left. He would keep these Lord Talents for the time being to prepare for the upgrade of his advanced Lord Talent in the future. It's time to do the last thing today. Zhou stood up and walked out of the advanced grade Lord's paradise. A huge spaceship in the form of a miniature Milky Way gradually appeared in the sky above his head. It was the Galaxy spaceship given to him by the Diamond tier Lord Talent, gift of the Machina. The next second, a silver starlight shone on Zhou from below the Galaxy spaceship. After the light disappeared, Zhou also disappeared. In the Galaxy, in the captain's room, Zhou sat on a silver throne and looked at the brand new sci-fi-like arrangements around him. He smiled and asked, "How's it going, my Galaxy star god, Wanya?" As soon as he finished speaking, silver mechanical symbols appeared out of thin air one after another. Then, they quickly condensed into a silver-haired and red-eyed girl wearing silver shorts. Her skin was fair and her facial features were exquisite. "Greetings, Your Majesty," Wanya said respectfully. Zhou sized up his body and raised his eyebrows slightly. "Flesh divine body?" "Yes, Your Majesty." Wanya also looked at her divine body with a hint of infatuation in her eyes. "This is a human data divine body that His Excellency the Machina God tier personally created for me. Even though it looks like a flesh and blood divine body, it's actually filled with the technological wisdom crystals of data life technology." Zhou raised his eyebrows. Wanya's data life divine body was actually personally created by the Machina God tier. That was one of the 10 master God tiers like the goddess of life. No wonder the Diamond tier gift of the Machina allowed his diplomatic relations with the Machina to reach the alliance level. Which Machina race faction would dare not to treat them as alliance-level lord factions with the highest level of master God tier backing them? At the thought of this, he opened the activity icon of the King of 10,000 Kings and opened the Join the Faction option. Indeed, he found the Machina Races faction inside. Moreover, this Machina Race faction already had a Machina Race Beginner Kingdom faction called Gita. Moreover, the Alliance's diplomacy relationship had already reached the Alliance level and was ranked ahead of the Night Empire and the Elven Empire. Gita Kingdom? Isn't this the mechanical kingdom where the ultimate lord, Zhou, went? Zhou thought to himself. It seemed that his diplomatic relationship with the Machina race could only be officially obtained by him or his subordinates coming into contact with this kingdom. It was impossible for him to directly obtain the diplomacy of all the Machina race lord factions with just his lord talent. He shook his head in his heart and did not care. He looked at Wanya. "Come on. Let me see how different you are from before after becoming a god. He smiled. His Majesty will see. Zhou nodded and told him to go to the Gita Kingdom where the ultimate lord, Zhou, was. When you smiled and activated the galaxy spaceship, flying towards a spatial teleportation array. After arriving at the spatial teleportation array, Zhou used this place to head to the Gold Merchant Lord's territory. Myriad Merchant City. Beside the spatial teleportation array, the Gold Merchant Lord was leading more than 100 territory officials to stand there respectfully, looking expectantly in the direction of the spatial teleportation array. At this moment, the spatial teleportation array suddenly lit up with a silver-white light. Then, a huge galaxy-shaped spaceship appeared above the teleportation array out of thin air. "Greetings, Your Majesty." When the Gold Merchant Lord and the others saw this, they immediately said respectfully and fanatically. The next second, a figure appeared out of thin air outside the spaceship. It was Zhou. He looked at the Gold Merchant Lord and the others below and nodded slightly. "You guys can go back. This king is just passing by. I won't stay here," he said. Yes. The Gold Merchant Lord and the others naturally did not dare to have any objections. Zhou did not say anything else when he saw this. He used spatial teleportation to return to the spaceship and let the Starry Night fly quickly northwest. Did you notice that the spaceship His Majesty rode on this time is different? It seems to be more advanced. Perhaps His Majesty's territory has developed a higher-level spaceship. I wonder when I can have a spaceship too. What are you dreaming about? Even the most ordinary black ghost needs hundreds of diamond-tier mist cores. Why do you want to buy a spaceship? If you want to experience a spaceship, can't you just go to the Blazing Sun Kingdom and buy a plane ticket? I heard that His Majesty is going to build an airport in our places in the future. I wonder if it's true. It should be true. The ministers discussed animatedly. The Gold Merchant Lord smiled when she heard their discussion. His Majesty's strength has increased again. He sighed inwardly when he thought of the spaceship that was even more sci-fi than a sci-fi movie. 5 minutes later, in the galaxy spaceship, Zhou was sitting on a silver throne with his eyes closed. His constitution was strong. Even though he had played the virtual game all night yesterday, not only did this not make him feel even more tired, but it was also equivalent to resting, gradually restoring his state to its peak. At this moment, he closed his eyes to rest. It was not because his eyes were tired from watching the game. He was just thinking about how to develop in the future. Your Majesty, we have arrived at the Gita Kingdom. At this moment, Zhou heard Wen Yu's voice. He opened his eyes with a very surprised expression. We're here. Yes. Wen Yu said respectfully. The flying distance between the Myriad Merchant City and the Gita Kingdom is about 5,816 million kilometers. This flight took a total of 6 minutes and 54 seconds. Zhou's mouth fell open. After a long time, he came back to his senses. In other words, the galaxy's flying speed is 50 billion kilometers an hour? He quickly calculated the result in shock. Yes, Your Majesty. Wen Yu's voice was as usual. Zhou looked shocked. As expected of the diamond-tier gift of the Machina, the speed of a spaceship that had increased by 3 major levels was extraordinary. This was 50 times faster than the previous Starry Night. Yes. What right did a white silver-tier spaceship have to scam a diamond-tier spaceship? Moreover, it was a spaceship whose functions had all reached the low-tier deity-level elementary grade. Such a configuration was not a problem to say that the galaxy was a low-tier deity-level elementary grade spaceship wearing the skin of a diamond-tier advanced grade spaceship. A smile appeared on his face. Then he thought of something and asked curiously, I remember that you also have a low-tier deity-level dark universe travel function. How fast will you be if you use dark universe travel function? If the galaxy activates the dark universe travel function, its speed will reach 100 times the speed of light, 21.6 times normal sailing speed. When you reported her data truthfully, Zhou clicked his tongue. Then he was secretly happy. 100 times the speed of light. That was 1,080 billion kilometers per hour. At this speed, he would not have to consider whether he was too far away if he wanted to go anywhere in the high continent in the future. No matter how far away it was, they would eventually arrive after letting the galaxy fly for a day and night. In the future, I won't have to rely on any location teleportation scrolls or random teleportation scrolls to go further. Zhou lamented. A moment later, he came back to his senses and remembered why he was here. Thinking of this, Zhou immediately stood up from the throne and activated exterior mode. Then, he saw a kingdom that was different from common sense appear in front of him, revealing the tip of the iceberg. Machina Race Kingdom. Get a kingdom? Zhou looked at the scene in front of him and thought of the information given to him by the Ultimate Lord. Zhou. Get a kingdom. This was an intermediate kingdom established by the Machina race. It had more than 500 million Machina race subjects in its territory. In terms of numbers, this was a kingdom with a relatively large population of subjects. However, the Gita kingdom knew, among the 500 million Machina race subjects, there were only more than 10 million Machina race life forms. The remaining 500 million Machina race subjects were just lifeless machines. It was equivalent to a bionic human among humans. In fact, because the classification of the Machina race was very strict, these lifeless mechanical subjects might even be inferior to bionics. If a war began and they were in a life-and-death situation, the Machina race life forms would throw these mechanical subjects out as cannon fodder without hesitation. It was rational and cold. This was also a common characteristic of the Machina race. Is this the city built by the mechanical race? Zhou's gaze was focused on the city in front of him. This was a huge mechanical city made up of all kinds of machinery. The technologically bright silver was its main color. All kinds of neon lights filled the city, rendering it like the future cyberpunk-style world. All kinds of mechanical life forms walked in the city like a part on a gear, emitting a sense of order. Other than that, there were also some subjects of the other races who lived here. They seemed to have reached a special harmonious relationship and did not look like they were in conflict. At this moment, a silver flying saucer-shaped aircraft flew over. Zhou did not do anything. When the silver aircraft flew in front of him, a virtual image was projected above the aircraft. It was the Ultimate Lord, Zhou. At this moment, he was in a mechanical palace with mechanical servants serving him. He looked to be in a pretty good situation. Looks like you're doing well. Zhou smiled. The Ultimate Lord shook his head. Follow the eye-disc reconnaissance robot. Zhou nodded. Honorable guest, please follow me. At this moment, the frisbee that the Ultimate Lord Zhou called an eye-disc robot suddenly emitted a mechanical voice. Zhou nodded. Then, he followed the eye-disc robot and flew towards the mechanical city in front of him. This is one of the yellow gold tier regional cities of our Gita Kingdom Silver Button City. Honorable guest, you can come to our place as a guest any time in the future. The eye-disc robot flew in front and led the way, not forgetting to introduce this city to Zhou. Zhou nodded and did not say anything else. Soon, they stopped in front of a mechanical palace. A machine and a person walked into the palace one after another. Soon, they saw the Ultimate Lord, Zhou, waiting for them. Zhou was a little surprised when he saw him. You're already an extraordinary tier advanced grade? MHM. The Ultimate Lord, Zhou, nodded and gestured for the eye-disc robot to leave. After it flew away, the Ultimate Lord, Zhou, said to him, I temporarily borrowed half of the Machina race's military strength in the other party's kingdom at the price of promising the king of the Gita kingdom that I would help him research a few war technologies in the future. At the same time, I shared the total database of the Gita kingdom. I obtained a large amount of computing power and a large amount of promotion energy through the Grand Unified Core Energy. This allowed me to advance to the Extraordinary Tier Advanced grade in a short period of time. In the future, I should be able to continue improving until I reach the Epic Tier Advanced grade. Only then will my improvement speed slow down. Half of the Machina race's troops? Zhou raised his eyebrows. Does the king of the Gita kingdom trust you so much? My main body is the Machina race, and the friendship behind the gift of the Machina represents the Machina race. In addition, I've signed the core contract procedure. There's basically no possibility of harming each other. That's why King Gita trusts me so much, Ultimate Lord Zhou explained. Zhou nodded. Then he smiled. By the way, I've already upgraded the gift of the Machina to Diamond Tier Lord talent. The Starry Night has all been upgraded to a higher level galaxy. His diplomatic relations with the Machina race have also increased from their previous friendship to the alliance level. The Gita Kingdom should already know this. I'll send another galaxy over later. It should be useful to your situation in the Machina race, he said. Okay. The Ultimate Lord, Zhou nodded. It was more than useful. With this witness spaceship that represented alliance-level diplomatic relations, in the future, its situation in the Machina race could be described as like a fish in water. Oh yes, I already know why you're here. According to the information I obtained from you, you should be able to steadily resolve this crisis. I still have a reason to stay here, so I won't go back with you. But you can take some gadgets with you, the Ultimate Lord Zhou said. Then he took out a silver ring and handed it to Zhou. Zhou took it and entered it with his consciousness. Then he was stunned. What is this? Zhou said in surprise. 10 legendary tier elementary grade Apocalypse Satellite 9, as well as the corresponding satellite launch base, satellite maintenance base, satellite recovery base, satellite manufacturing base, satellite robot factory, and 10,000 Apocalypse satellite mechanical engineers. With this batch of facilities and staff, the future satellite launch, recovery, manufacturing, and restoration can be properly resolved. Apocalypse Satellite? It's Lord Father's unfinished loot. Zhou thought for a moment and remembered. The Ultimate Lord, Zhou nodded. After obtaining the computing power, big data, and promotion energy here, I upgraded the original Extraordinary Tier Elementary Grade Apocalypse Satellite 4 to Legendary Tier Elementary Grade 9 through my ultimate algorithm True Simulation and Super Calculation. These 10 Apocalypse Satellite 9. As a high-altitude attack satellite building, its range is 100 million kilometers. With the Legendary Tier Elementary Grade Apocalypse Laser Cannon, it can instantly kill all life forms below the Legendary Tier Elementary Grade in the range. Moreover, it can accumulate full power attack charging every 60 seconds when there's enough energy. Apart from that, it also has a satellite reconnaissance function. It can observe any enemy within the attack range and determine who is the greatest threat based on the energy fluctuations. This way, we can hit accurately. They should be useful to you in the upcoming war, the Ultimate Lord Zhou said. It works. It's too useful. Zhou's eyes lit up when he heard that. He looked at the 10 Apocalypse Satellite 9 as if they were treasures. He had to deal with hundreds of millions of enemies tomorrow. It would definitely be very difficult to find the other party's general among so many enemies and take the head of the enemy general. Even if he could find the enemy general through the eye of the heaven's anger, it was not easy to break through the enemy's obstruction and kill the enemy general inside. However, it was different with this Apocalypse Satellite 9. They could directly launch a laser attack from a high altitude. No matter how many people there were, they could still target them. Would his soldiers dare to block it? He might not be able to withstand it even if he died. This was the advantage of laser strike. Zhou chuckled and put the mechanical ring on his finger. Then, he asked, "What else do you plan to do by staying here?" "Study the war technology you agreed to. More than that, I also plan to rely on the computing power here to continue climbing the technology level of the Grand Unified Core Energy. Also, there's not only one mechanical kingdom here, there are also many small mechanical lord factions nearby. I plan to take them all down and become a subordinate of my computing power so that I can bring them back to the territory in the future. The computational power of the Gita Kingdom is ultimately borrowed. Apart from that, I have another purpose. This is the greatest reason why I'm staying here," the Ultimate Lord Zhou said. "What is it?" Zhou was curious. "I discovered a very useful and interesting incomplete technology in the database of the Gita Kingdom. It's mixed virtual reality technology. After I complete and popularize this mixed reality technology, Our territory can enter the mixed virtual reality era. The ultimate lord, Zhou, said. Zhou's eyes lit up. Mixed virtual reality era. This sounded a little complicated. However, it actually had another name in the Machina race. The era of data civilization. Living beings who lived in the era of the data civilization were like living in a game world. Everything could understand each other's information by checking the data. In this data environment, no matter what he did, his efficiency would increase greatly. Life forms could even understand their improvement by observing their data. It was also because they knew how much they had improved and why. From there, they would be more motivated, methodical, and efficient in learning and improvement. Life forms could even find ways to improve faster from big data through the internet, thereby allowing them to improve better. In the online novels of the Cerulean planet and Earth, there was often a type of protagonist who learned everything quickly because he had obtained the proficiency panel. Then, he would leap into the sky and have everything. However, in the eyes of the data civilization, this proficiency panel was only an incomplete data panel. Only the proficiency panel and the perfect teaching data resource could be equivalent to the learning effect of an individual's life in the data civilization. The only thing stronger than the data panel might be the magical learning effect of the proficiency panel in the novel. If my Blazing Sun Kingdom enters the era of mixed virtual reality, the development speed of my territory will be 10 times or even 100 times faster. The more Zhou thought about it, the more excited he became.